welcome to What You Say Anime. I am your host, Peter. A few months ago in our Discord, we had a fun fantasy football game where we all played, where the losers had to pick a terrible show chosen by the Wheel of Fate. In a fun turn of events, literally everybody lost. So we are all here to talk about our godforsaken shows that should never be seen by anybody, except for whatever Miles got, which was just like mid. Today we will go over those shows and give our thoughts and air out our frustrations. Joining me today are Miles, Pat, Kat, Preston, and the host of the Anime Degens podcast, Tyler. I was thinking about using the wheel to decide who goes first, but then I decided I think whoever needs to vent their frustrations the most to go first. So, is there anybody here with a burning rage in their soul that needs to vent out their show that they watched? Nobody? Nobody's
not you, Pete? You don't have a burning rage?
Not a burning rage, but
a burning...
All right, fuck it. I'll go first. if we have no volunteers, I will go first. So what we're going to do, we each got, we spun a wheel, terrible shows. And the one that I got was called Ro-Kyu-Bu. Yes. The lolly basketball show. You guys like games, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to play a fun game with you guys. I want you to guess whether there was more shower scenes or more basketball scenes in this show.
Oh Lord,
this is
should be an easy one.
Yeah. That's showers.
I'm gonna go basketball just because I feel like this might be a trick question, and I have faith in Ro-Kyu-Bu being a girls' basketball anime.
Why?
I'm just gonna go with showers because you could shower before and after a game if you so desired, right? Or like you could shower after practice in the morning, then when you got home before bed, or opportunities to shower. I'll say.
Even at halftime, so, you know.
Even at halftime.
During the 2-minute media timeout that these girls certainly had.
I mean, the bench can do it, you know what I mean?
Okay, so
I really hope it's basketball.
It was a trick question. There were more basketball scenes, but were there more shower scenes or more basketball games played?
Shower scenes.
Probably shower scenes now that you've already played your
game. It's probably mostly practice.
That is correct. So the main character of these shows are elementary girl students. There were 6 shower scenes in this show. There was also 3 locker room changing scenes in this show that add up to a total of 9 scenes that should not be seen by anybody living. I think there's a very strong correlation of people who enjoy this show and people whose names are on the Epstein Island list. This show was absolutely abysmal, but I don't want to like hate on this show all the time because I do think it has some redeeming qualities to it. And that redeeming quality is there's one redeeming quality. Actually, there's 2. So the first one is the friend group in the show is actually pretty good. Like I legit had a lot of fun when they weren't butt ass naked or changing their clothes. It was while there is some weird ass scenes in this show, the actual like basketball scenes in the show were actually kind of fun. I think everybody has seen the GIFs of this show of like them passing the ball. I was like, oh my God, is it going to be all of this the entire show? And that's like literally all in the first episode. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be in terms of like animation and things like that, but it was abysmal. Like, their hands look like tentacles and not hands. So like when one girl passes, instead of like pushing forward, they like cross. And I'm not sure how that works when passing a basketball, but they make it work. They also do it in the scene where instead of like a layup, like a behind the back layup or something like that, she just tosses it backwards and then her arms do an X and she makes a shot. Yeah, this show was made for pedophiles by pedophiles, I'm going to assume. Like,
is that the other redeeming quality, Pete?
No, sorry. So the redeeming qualities were the girl group was really fun, and the actual basketball elements of the show were fun. So there was like a scene where like they play the other team plays like a 2-3 zone, and then they counter it by playing like a 1-3-1, which is like a legit strategy against a 2-3 zone. I was like, oh, they're actually playing basketball. And then they have like a scene where like they double team the tall girl, and so they play 4 shooters from the 3-point line. I'm like, that's like a real thing. Like, okay, there's some actual basketball strategy going into this show. So I gotta give credit where credit's due. There's 2 things that has the show going for it. Outside of that, it was like a rotting pile of trash. Like, the dialogue was super bad. All the characters were super tropey. And the first episode, so the whole point of this is like they're trying to get like a basketball team going, and they're all kind of novices. And one of the teachers' nephew is like this high school prodigy. And his team shuts down, so then they do this Mighty Ducks thing where it's like, well, you're not playing basketball anymore. Why don't you come coach these ragtag team of girls to play basketball? And you like, oh, all these girls are supposed to be like really bad. One of them is like LeBron James. Actually, she's like insane at basketball. Like, she never really like shows it because like in her previous school, she got bullied for being too good at basketball. So
that makes sense.
Yeah. So when she's on this team, she wants to have fun with her friends. So she doesn't like showcase her talents. And she's like LeBron James if she was a 2nd grade girl. So to entice him to join, when he visits the school, they dress up as maids, and they do the welcome home master thing that they always do. Yeah, so this is in the first 4 minutes of the show. This is where I dropped it the first time. Things progress as you would expect in these types of shows with different elements like that. So we have our infamous beach episode because one of the girls can't swim, which is very important to the game of basketball. So, of course, we had to enter in the beach episode. Then they end up playing another team in their swimsuits because, that's what you do when you play basketball. You play in your beach wear. So, a lot of, like, questionable scenes in this show. This show was terrible. So, like, the main character was played by Kana Hanazawa, and she sounds exactly like the Tuturu girl from Steins Gate. They aired roughly the same time. I think this was practice, or she just literally copied her character from Steins Gate and put it into a lolly basketball show. Pat mentioned this in the Discord. The eyes, they are 3/4 of their head. It was jarring. There's some scenes where it's like not as bad, but it's very inconsistent with their eye size. So sometimes it's only half their head, which looks bad, but not as bad as when it's like 3/4, and then you can park a Tahoe between their eyes. So a lot of like questionable animation choices along with the tentacle arms that they had. I give the show a 1. I think it's on par with something like Arimo, where it was clearly made to showcase little girls in really weird situations. It does make me really want like a drama basketball show. There was a girl in this show that had like a height sensitivity, and I think that would be something interesting to like showcase in like a basketball show. Especially with if your cast was female, like different aspects to it where people have like insecurities with themselves, but then utilizing it to play something like a sport. I think that would be really cool. And I think there was something actually here that you could make a basketball show about like beginners learning how to play basketball. However, that was not what they were trying to do at all. I think whoever created this should be arrested. I think anybody who enjoys this show should be arrested. And I really hope that nobody else has to watch this show because it was a pedophile's dream. And I think that's all I had to say about Ro-Kyu-Bu. So, I don't know. Do you guys have any interest in watching this so I can shoot you on sight?
No.
Fuck
Okay.
no.
Nah, not at all. Miles, you're muted.
That's my bad. I've been doing some research to see, because sometimes
In private, incognito mode, I hope.
yeah. I had to mute myself. I was, sometimes adaptations aren't faithful to the source material, and I saw the cover of the first Ro-Kyu-Bu light novel, which is what this is adapted from.
A light novel, wow.
Yes, and I thought to myself, maybe not. And then I saw the cover of the second Ro-Kyu-Bu light novel, and I thought to myself, oh, okay, that's how we got here. This author seems to have a thing, as you have mentioned. So they have Gothic Lolita, both the clothing style and the small girl Ping Pong. That's another one of their series. They have a series called Pocket Aces, which is about a lolly who plays poker. And all of everything they've ever made. Every single
That is
show.
Hades' life hearing this.
You're making this up. This isn't real.
This is super,
I refuse.
super
The
real.
Gothic Lolita
The
thing is
author's
a real
name
thing.
is
I've seen the
Tinkle.
manga.
Oh
I'm
no.
looking at it now too.
Yeah. The person who illustrates the guy's light novels name is Tinkle.
Wow.
Hilarious.
There are
I'm-
multiple video games of Ro-Kyu-Bu. It got multiple visual novels that were published on the PSP.
You should read them, Miles. You love visual novels.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what I say.
Especially ones with little girls.
Especially Ro-Kyu-Bu.
You have
Yes.
one in your background, actually.
Visual novel?
Yeah, visual novel little girl character.
Oh, I do. Right here. Though it is from the anime. And also,
Nice save. Good save.
and this is the most important difference. Rika never plays basketball.
You should though.
You'd be bawling.
Preston, you had a question?
No, I had a comment. I can't believe Pete didn't see the genius intricacies of having them learn how to swim. They're teaching her the swim move to escape the box out.
Yeah, so there's some things in this show that don't make any sense. With that, the tall girl who has the insecurity, to trick her, they put her at small forward. That way she doesn't feel tall. But then she plays center anyway. They also get invited to a training camp. And then when they get invited to a camp, they play like another team that's there from the camp. And then the team refuses to play, the team that invited them to this camp, because they don't have 10 players. So they get invited to a camp to not play because they don't have 10 players. I don't know why they were invited in the first place if they knew that they didn't have 10 players. And that's like that's like the drama of the last arc. There's just some questionable like storyline plots that don't make a lot of sense, including the swimming aspect, because there's no real reason for it to be there other than to put them in swimsuits. And yeah. I have to say something real quick. I said that there was 9 questionable scenes. There's actually 10. I forgot there was another scene with them in the swimsuits where they change in front of him and they're like cool with it. So there's actually 10 questionable scenes. So yeah, this is like, I would say it's a bottom 3 anime of all time for me. I think it is what it's portraying and what it's trying to doing is criminal. And
Which one is the tall
literally.
one?
The tall one, her name is Ari.
They just all look so small, so I guess I was just...
Yeah.
Okay.
Can they even shoot threes?
No.
Okay, I figured with their little tentacle arms that they wouldn't be able to get the ball to the rim.
Mm-hmm.
Well, surely the goal is lower too. You know, that's what they do in Little League as well.
It didn't
made
seem
sense.
like it because they have. I'm not gonna like dive too much into it, but it didn't seem like that was the case. They played on like courts that like didn't have 3-point lines. I don't think they were really trying too hard to be accurate to the game of basketball in a sense, but yeah, just not good.
It
This
just blows
song-
my mind that this is like elementary school kids. I didn't know that was the case. I thought they was like middle school, high school, and they just look like that. But that's insane that people would write elementary school kids like this. You know what I mean?
I'm just
And
gonna... I don't know, man. For me, you know, and obviously this is like a contentious topic or whatever, but like, it does not matter how old they are if they look like this.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Thank you,
but
Miles.
It's even worse.
Thank you.
you know, like, because like I don't know, like maybe the mental gymnastics I do of watching some show where some like you see like some high school girl's bra or whatever is like she looks like she's 30 or whatever in the anime, but like this is just I mean the basketball is 1/3 their size.
It's the size of their head. Yeah.
Like it's the same type of thing where I look at Lucky Star and I'm like, why would anybody make like smut of this?
You know why?
I don't actually.
Because they're nasty. Yeah, the one of the running bits is they always call the main character like a lolicon pervert, but like every character in the show looks the same. So like I don't understand like how he's the lolicon when like literally they have the thing where one of the characters is the teacher and she's 23 and she's smaller than some of the basketball players. So
you can tell this lady's older because of her outfit.
Sure.
Can you now?
I don't know. That's how I guessed who it was going to be.
You would be correct. She does have a sweet car though.
Can she see over the steering wheel?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Oh my god. There's a scene. So she's driving them to the camp at the end, and her appendix explodes. And then the coach for the other team is upset that their coach isn't there. And they explain to her that her appendix exploded and she's at the hospital. And then she's still just like, well, I really wish we would have known that ahead of time. And it's like, are you kidding me? We were driving.
Okay, are you sure? Are you sure it doesn't deserve a 2 for that scene? That sounds pretty funny.
It was so dumb, dude. There was so many scenes. The only way I would give it more than a 1 is just like legit. I think their friend group was fun when they weren't being sexualized. Like they were actually like really fun. Just I like slice of life sport stuff, and they had that element to it. But it just gets ruined within like the next 4 minutes of some other scene that they implement. So I've rambled on enough. This show is a 1. Never watch it. If you do watch it, you're getting put on a list. Who wants to go next?
I can hop in next. I just wanted to say though, Pete, too, thank you for stepping up and taking this show off the wheel before I went, because this was pretty much the one show that I would have watched it, but I would have been very tempted to decline it and back out like a baby. But like I am so thankful that you took this one off of the wheel before I got.
It'll be on the wheel next year, though. So
I'm putting it on the wheel next year. I'm putting it back on next year.
Yeah.
Okay, no. Here's the thing: we can talk about this after. We need a metagame when you get to do it, because I also want to nominate it. Therefore, I cannot watch it.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Pete needs to nominate it then, it sounds like. But yeah, I'll go next. So I got assigned a show about hockey. And you would think, knowing me, big hockey guy, that I would love it.
You look like a hockey player that plays for what's the Minnesota team?
The Wild?
Oh, yeah. The
Yes.
I look like that Russian
Kirill
guy on the Minnesota
Kaprizov.
Wild. Kaprizov,
For
yes.
about a year, I was confused about why you had a GIF of yourself.
Yeah, no, it was not me. I did not play professional hockey. At least not yet. Well, you never know. Never say never.
Yeah, fan goalie or whatever.
I've got the flow going right now too. The lettuce, everything. So this just screams a hockey anime, right? You would think that would be a slam dunk hit for me. Not if you have to watch poo. Literal poo, or Pride of Orange for non-cultured people. That show was so bad. I cannot begin to describe. Basically, the show's premise is that these random middle school girls that are Love Live, Shiny, whatever characters, that they decide they want to play hockey, and then they go and play hockey at their local ice stadium, as they called it. It's an ice rink, by the way. The coach says, "Sure, you guys can play." They play, and then the coach says, "You're on the team. By the way, when you guys win, we do a victory dance or victory performance." And then they do an idol performance on the ice, not in skates either, by the way. Like, You would think that that would be a connection that would be made, but no. I cannot begin to describe my disdain for this show. I guess the only caveat that I would have is that it's not offensive or too creepy towards the women involved in the show in the way that Pete's was, where it's a literal fetish show, right? Like it's not meant to be what Pete's show is meant to be. It's meant to be an idol anime disguised as a hockey anime, but except also they only do the idol thing like twice in the show, at the start and the finish, like the performances, and they reference it multiple times that, oh God, we have to do it. And the players don't even want to do it either, but the coach is just insistent on it apparently. I don't know. This show, I think Pete, you watched
I've seen all of this show.
Yes. I don't know if anyone else here has. And I guess what I would say is that I do think that this show was objectively bad as well. There are certain scenes, one of them I put in the Discord, which you should join, by the way. We talk a lot of anime in there. Thanks, Pat. There's a specific frame in the final episode of the show, by the way, in one of the culminating scenes of the show, where the goalie is standing there, and they're all standing there, and their fish bowls, their visors on their helmets are all blocked out with like a white light or whatever, like lazy animation, whatever you would want to say, like or cheaper animation, whatever. The goalie, who has a cage on, like a regular mask, is sitting there, and their face is just not there. They don't have a face. It's ridiculous. Like I cannot fathom why like this show being, and that's just one of many animation weird moments. There's a lot of CG in them skating. The way they skate looks like they're running or sprinting rather than gliding or actually like skating on the ice, even though they do try to act like they're training for it and they're showing it progress, whatever. They talk a lot about how hockey's a team game, which it is, but then they still do the thing where they basically turned it into like basketball, where it's like, okay, it's a team thing, but one player can score all the goals, which once or twice may happen in a game, but that doesn't happen throughout a season. It's just not how it works. They also play as 5, even though there's 10 people on the team. They play as those, or well, 6. There's including the goalie. The 6 of them play all game, which for a goalie's normal, but hockey shifts on average are like 20 to 30 seconds because it's just so exhausting and you gotta keep moving. You gotta sprint, rest. They don't do that in this show. They just play the entire games, and they kind of like, I don't even remember if they try to justify it beyond like the first time it happens. No, they don't. Yeah, there you go. This show was like so offensive to me in the least problematically offensive way possible, if that makes sense. Like it's everything I hate about sports anime, idol anime, shows that are clearly made to sell a mobile game, which this is, I forgot to mention that this game is literally a mobile game, or the show is literally a mobile game it's like a gacha, basically, from my understanding. I cannot see myself wanting to watch this ever again or consume this in any way ever again. I am very, very sad.
Very sad.
Like that this is the one hockey anime that exists, because and I'm praying that manga by the
Dog's Red Baby,
by the guy that does Golden Kamui comes sooner than later. Holy moly, will that be a fun time?
Because selling
all
well,
the
so...
Is it? All right, that's good to know. I really like a few sports. I like soccer, I like hockey, and I like golf. And we're like, I guess there's good soccer anime out there. Not that I would really want to watch those, but the golf and hockey anime that have existed are really, really not very good. And so we're kind of swinging and missing a lot on this in my vein of interests.
Like sports anime and stuff. If you're a big fan of it, I feel like you criticize it more too. So it, like, since you're a big fan of hockey, obviously, like, you're going to be more harsh on it because you're going to know what's going on and stuff. So it's going to be even worse. So why cater to that audience, if you're not going to do it right. So it doesn't make sense.
I agree with that. Yeah, that's a good point too. And I only commented on a few of the things that were weird about the hockey in it. The show, and I will give it credit, it does show them practicing and on ice a lot. It also does this thing where, you know how shows will get lazy or be broke, whatever you want to say sometimes, and they'll, instead of actually showing like montages where they're working on stuff, it'll be like a screenshot or
the blue lock
like
treatment.
Yeah. Essentially that's what happened. I think every episode it had to have happened at least twice, like once before the ad break and once after. I swear it happened frequently. So it's just sad. Sad that this is the hockey anime that exists. But yeah, exactly. The hockey stuff aside, though, too, this show is not very good. The characters are boring and one dimensional. Some of them are even just repeat versions of each other. It's like the most vanilla gotcha BS you'll ever see. It really is that bad.
I remember watching it, and it never really like committed to either being an idol show or a hockey show. Because I think you mentioned, I think there's only like 2 performances in the entire show. So like the whole step is for them. It realistically was like the coach was trying to get them to be, like idols, and then they didn't really showcase that. And then the hockey games themselves were like mediocre at best. And so like it never really like picked the lane, which I think was worse. I really wish they just like committed to at least one of them, and then that way we can at least have some expectations. But like when you're waiting for like the episode to be over for, the idol performance, it just never happened until I think it was like episode 1 in like a flashback, and then I think like towards one of the last couple episodes of the season.
It's the last scene of the show is the idol performance. Like it's that, and like you said, it is like a flash forward initially to, oh, by the way, when these random middle schoolers are suddenly playing in the equivalent of the World Junior Classic with Japan, who by the way never makes it there because they're not good enough. They make it to the World Junior Classic and are facing Canada in, well, what's referred to as the World Cup of Hockey, but it's clear that it's like an under 18. Oh, ew. Oh, well, no, wait, you were just there. Never mind. That's okay.
Canada.
Boo. No, just kidding. We're not like that. We're not like that.
He's like that.
France.
You are definitely like that.
Only in sports, though. Like, I don't know. Rivalries are fun. Anyways, yeah, it sucked. That aspect of the show is so dumb. It's so like preposterous. Like, can you imagine picking up soccer as like a freshman in high school, let's say, and like that's the anime premise, and then it flashes forward in the first 30 seconds to you then in the World Cup final, like taking a penalty kick against Brazil for, I don't know, let's say the US Virgin Islands, like not even the US making it to the World Cup final, the US Virgin Islands making it to the World Cup final. Like how, like it's the most preposterous thing. It's hard to suspend your disbelief, and I get it, you're supposed to because it's an idol show, but man. So I guess I'll wrap up too because I feel like I've been rambling.
I've got one question for you if you don't mind.
I'm ready. Yes, please.
Yep. Okay, this is important. What's worse, this or season 1 of Uma Musume?
Ooh,
that's a good question.
I mean, while he's been talking about it, like it kind of reminds me of Uma Musume in a way,
a lot,
because they do idol stuff too, but they don't really focus on it a lot, even though they try to or whatever. So, but it sounds like Uma Musume at least done the horse racing more correctly. So
season 2 did it a lot better than season 1.
I think Uma Musume saves itself at least at the tiniest bit with some horse puns and stuff. Like,
okay, yeah, like there's some humor in there, and like they eat carrots for lunch or whatever. Like,
yeah, I guess. I like, oh yeah, it's the lore, of Uma Musume really keeps you coming back. No, I think
or like the horseshoes where they do that, like that sort of thing. I guess.
Yeah, I think I gave them both the same score.
Okay.
Of a 3, simply and I don't know, my enjoyment level of both of them is pretty low, not to mention the production side of things. I like this show though. I will give it some credit. It did not like vehemently insult me. What like Happy Sugar Life or Emo, as you mentioned earlier, like shows like that are just disgusting fetishes that are, meant to excite people that need help. So I this show was not that, which good for it, I guess. Like congratulations. Uh I cannot if anyone has any other questions, I'm happy to answer them. But man, this show stunk. It was not for me, not my cup of tea at all, and I'm sad now that hockey has been blasphemized like this in the eyes of Japan.
So there's auto performance and stuff. Was the songs any count, or like did they just are they shit?
they there's one performance. There's one real
Yeah.
performance, and it's kind of just mid. Like I don't know. It doesn't. Again, they're performing at the center ice, not with a carpet put down. It's just the six of them too. The other teammates fuck off for whatever reason. Um, and then they're wearing like special like Love Live outfits, whatever you want to call them. But they're not on skates, so they're just walking around, moving around, shifting around on the ice. Which I guess, like when you're a hockey player or whatever, you know how to walk on ice. Do it all the time, but like performing on ice would be really, really hard to do. It's so ridiculous, and the song was so not memorable at all. I don't remember it. I can't even remember like how it starts or anything. It was not very good. Pete, I'm glad you're reaffirming that because like maybe it was good. I'm not that into idol stuff either though, so maybe it was a all-time performance. Who knows? I will never
It's
know.
not memorable. I would say the best thing about the show is their team name is called the Dream Monkeys, which goes hard as fuck.
That is pretty fun.
That's a sick team name.
And the other one that they face, their main opponent are Snow White. For whatever reason, there's no other part to that name. It's just Snow White. And I guess it's implied that they're from like Hokkaido up north or something like that.
That would make sense.
Does make sense. More hockey up there, I would guess. Oh yeah, they just randomly go to Okinawa for like a summer training camp and go to the beach and they play volleyball, beach volleyball, and that's supposed to help them like train for hockey explosiveness.
It helps you with basketball if I learned anything from Ro-Ku-Bu.
Apparently it helps you with hockey as well. The explosiveness that you develop on skates, which are, you dig into the ground very firmly and explode and move forward and use momentum. Basically the same thing as like planting on sand, right? Like there's totally no physical differences there at all. It's I don't know. I get that they were trying to do like a teamwork arc thing, but these girls are also just automatically best friends from the second they meet. So it's like there's no, which of course some of them already were friends. So it just it's like such a low effort attempt to hide an idol anime into a sports anime, and it's so frustrating. All right, I need to stop talking about this. Cat, please. What did you watch again, Cat, my friend?
I watched Pigsakai, but the actual name is Butareba, the story of a man who turned into a pig. Well, so let me start off with I hated the first 3 episodes. But honestly, after the first 3 episodes, it started to turn a corner. Like, what the fuck, Miles? Like, it started to turn a corner a little bit because, like, it doesn't really set up its social conundrums well in the first 3 episodes, but it does like introduce the idea of Yesmas, who are kind of like the serfdom of the world, and they end up they basically get sold off into servitude for the first 16 years of their life, and then after they turn 16, they have to go and take this great journey to the royal castle where they're supposed to do something. It's not really known what they're supposed to do, but they have a collar around their neck that is full of magic that people are trying to hunt them for. Butareba is the name of this show. they're trying to hunt them for because it has a bunch of magic in it. So they have to behead them so that they can retrieve the magic and sell it or harvest it. There's also some interesting technology in it where they have like M1 grands and they have they have some like it genuinely does do a bit of like discrimination and it reminds me of some of the, oh sorry it reminds me of some of the stories about like slave hunters like when researching like history especially especially when we're doing the especially when I was learning about like the some of the flowers when it comes to like trying to get slaves to run over to the docks and get on boats and things like that. Like it's fairly interesting because I didn't think that a pig would teach me so much about discrimination. All right, I'm gonna stop lying to you. This fucking show sucked. This fucking show sucked ass.
You had me worried there for a minute, not gonna lie.
I can't. I can't. Okay, so what I said about the Yesmas was true, but all of the discrimination is half fucking baked. Jesus Christ, this show does not understand discrimination. It doesn't like, oh, like.
So what's the basis around the discrimination in the show?
The basis around the discrimination is that there's a bunch of white there's a bunch of chicks who have collars around their necks that are sold into servitude, and a bunch of people go and try and cut off their heads so that they can harvest their bones and their collars. Spoiler is because they have magic in their bones, but like it's like when we see it, there's like, oh, it's supposed to be super ominous and there's supposed to be a bunch of danger. There's not much danger in it. You're going on a fucking trip with a pig that you want to fuck. Like that's not a whole like moral conundrum. It's not like, and the thing is the show fucking sometimes acts high and mighty about how it's like trying to be super anti-discriminatory and this is the world that we come from. Like there's also laws there's also laws in some of the cities that are prohibiting like sexual assault and travel for these people, which is like like that's literally them saying, yeah, these people are protected as long as they're in cities, but they have to go to this giant tower. Why do you have to go to this giant tower? Also, the thing is, this chick wants to fuck the pig. This chick wants to fuck the pig from the first episode, and they want to fuck the pig the entire way through. In it, there's no like subtlety in it. Like the pig wants to fuck her too. Don't get me wrong. Like this pig is horny as fuck. Like this pig is so all right. So the pig sees the girl and he's like, oh my god, this chick's so hot. Also, the girl can read the pig's mind. So, and then it gets to a point where the pig like has to like can think in his like subconscious, so he doesn't have to think where she can hear, which is fucking wild and it isn't explained. It's fucking stupid. Anyway, so she hears him going like, baby, baby, I would love to see you naked. It would make me oink. And then like she just starts playing with him, and it's so, oh god, it drives me insane. It goes through that happens the entire show. Also, the pig calls her sorry, excuse me, flip that. She calls him brother for like 4 episodes and then stops because there's another Yesma in their group that is, and it's making them feel like subconscious, like it's making them feel like a little embarrassed about her being able to hear them. It's so stupid. Also, like the other Yzma, like there's a whole like uh what's it called? Like not allegory, but like there's a whole example about how like yes, the other Yzma has bigger boobs than you do, but you're like uh she's like a sunflower and you're like the daisies underneath the sunflowers. You're still beautiful. There are people who still prefer you over the sunflowers, which is basically like, hey, I know I'm demeaning you, but I have to look down at you. And that's okay. That's because I'm looking for you rather than the sunflowers who I'll automatically look at when I see them. Oh my god, this show fucking sucks.
I have 2 questions for you, Kat, if you don't mind.
Okay.
First off, are you aware that this is done by Studio Project Number 9, who also does some other anime that we've watched here in Ro-Kyu-Bu?
They do a lot
If
of
you
shit.
if you want to look at their
Incredible.
look at their anime list and sort it by score, and you'll just see it's like, okay, wow, they did what was that goddamn show? The Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten. That one's
You
fine,
know,
right? And then the superhero and
love
supervillain.
after world domination.
Thank
Oh
you. They
my
did that show
god.
too.
It's a
Like
great
people
show.
liked that
God.
one. And then
They
after
did.
that, it's everything else is like incest, disgusting, gross, weird, all sorts
They-
of shows like
Well,
that.
put
And
some
I guess
respect on
Tomozaki-kun.
Tomozaki.
Yeah,
Thank
no,
you.
fair
They
enough.
have
Thank you.
Tomozaki-kun. It is Big Peepee, as Pete likes to call him.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
They did High School Prodigies Have It Easy in Another World. This studio is the opposite of goated.
Yeah. Yeah, they're pretty awful, aren't they?
They're
All right, that was
goaded at getting garbage shows.
Yeah.
someone's got to do them. Except they don't, They really don't have to, but they do,
Yo, that check clears, my man.
They need the money, Pat.
Apparently,
What was your second question?
my second question was going to be so you discussed how like this show doesn't well at first you were praising I thought but I guess that was part of the bit.
That was
The
a
discri-
bit and a half.
so this show does discrimination. I want you to tell me which show handles discrimination and stories of racism better. 86 or Pigsakai?
Holy sh! Okay, so here's the thing.
Simple question.
Burning trash versus
Pretty good.
burning recyclables.
It is not a simple question because you have not watched Pixakai.
No, you're right. Well, I can only imagine, based off of everything you said, that there's one correct answer here, and I would love to hear it.
Don't make me play devil's advocate here. I will absolutely say the show that you don't want me to say. So here's the thing. This show tries to do like slavery or at least servitude. While 86 also tries to do that, but it's also like really it's different. I would honestly say that 86 does it worse. And
Okay, Kat.
only
Okay, Kat. Next question.
I
Sorry.
believe it.
I believe
I
it.
My
yeah,
turn.
100%.
My turn for a question.
What's up?
And this is the most important question. Did they kiss or have sex, Kat? This Miles needs to know because
I
he needs
do.
to watch this show.
So
yeah,
they do kiss. They do sleep
Oh
with
my
each other,
god.
but they do not have sex.
okay.
You're safe, Miles.
Lower the
Interesting.
score.
You're safe.
Lower the score.
You're safe.
Okay, honestly, I'm impressed they kiss. I have some questions about the pig.
Yeah.
One, can he speak?
Yes. Well, no, he cannot speak to
Okay.
normal people, but through his mage girlfriend, he can.
It's like telepathy.
Okay.
His
Mind
main
powers.
girlfriend.
Okay. Does the pig have a potential harem, or is it just one love interest?
It is just one love interest. He does look at others, but every time he does that, his mage girlfriend starts crying and is like, you could look at them if you want, and then he's like doing bullshit. Yeah.
I need you to clarify: other pigs or human girls?
This is
Human
gonna-
girls,
this is
absolutely.
like-
Definitely not pigs.
This is going to be my next
Definitely not.
question. Does his pigness ever slowly seep into his consciousness as he loses what it means to be human?
Absolutely not. This is not that deep.
Yeah, fucking cowards.
What do you expect from a show about the story of a man who turned into a pig?
I want him to fuck a pig.
I have a
I'll-
question if nobody else does.
Sure,
Go
what's up?
for
All
it.
right, the voice actor who plays the pig has played a lot of very prominent fantasy lead roles.
Matsuoka Yoshitsugu.
Of the three that I listed, can you name his best role? The pig from this show, Kirito from Sword Art Online, or Belle from Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon?
Is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon?
That's his best role?
That's the best role.
All right, what's his second best role?
Picks a guy.
Okay, sounds good. Okay.
And I'm saying that.
Really over Kirito?
Yeah.
And
Like
I'm
I
saying that
haven't seen it,
for-
but that's impressive.
Like I hate that I'm saying it as well. Part of it is just because I wanna make Pat mad, but like that's not here nor there. I'm like the thing is,
That's funny. He has some shitters when he's my favorite voice actor. That's tough.
the thing is,
The Kirito
that-
voice acting is pretty good, honestly.
Yeah.
He's a good voice actor.
have you watched Pixakai yet?
Maybe the pig has good voice acting. I don't know.
The pig
No,
has
Pat, you
amazing
didn't
voice
stream it into
acting, which I
Discord.
hate. Of course I didn't. I binge watched it today.
The guy is Beetlejuice in ReZero
Yes.
as well. This
Yes.
guy
Good one,
is
yeah.
a legend. He's Futaro in that harem that Miles likes.
Quince.
He's Yukihiro
Quince?
Soma.
He's everything. Holy shit. This guy is really good. And he's also this big guy apparently.
Yeah.
He's the main character in Aramanga Sensei.
You know,
Can't all be
You know?
winners.
No.
Nope. you can't.
He's
That's
also
pretty
Sora
crazy.
in No
He does
Game No
two.
Life.
He does at least that's 3 incest shows. No Game No
Yeah.
Life.
Yes.
Sword Art Online, and Aramanga Sensei.
One of those is
The
actually
big three,
incest.
baby.
Yes. One of those is this. Well,
Cousin, or one of them is not incest, I should say. Technically.
sorry. Yes, it's his cousin.
It is his cousin. They're first cousins.
Where
By
are you?
Japanese
If we're
Alabama?
gonna have a
standards.
blood, if we're going by blood relation, only one of them is incest.
Correct.
Cousins are blood related to you.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. The cousin
Oh
show.
yeah, Aramanga Sensei is less incestuous
They're
than Sword Art
step.
Online.
Yeah, they're
That is-
step siblings.
Aren't they half brother and sister or no?
No, they're
Another
step.
step, yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool.
And you
Um,
know what they say? That erases all of the issues.
Yeah. Any more questions before I have my last underlining thing about this goddamn show?
I think you could take it away.
Okay, cool. So you know how like your hockey anime Pat had some of those like slideshow things. After episode 9, it was just a slideshow. Like there were just points in the show where it looks like they had like the background and then they had the chick there and then they had just it looks like they just put a sticker on top of the background and just had that there. It was that bad. There were also parts of the show where like the pig is supposed to be walking and the pig is not synced at all with the background or with the sounds of the pig walking either. Like it is awful. It is genuinely terrible. And this show brought me almost no joy. The one part that brought me joy was when the fucking dickhead Notice was about to die. I thought he was going to die, and it brought me a modicum of joy, and then he escaped. So it gave me joy and then took it away like the damn cuck this show is.
What was your rating?
This show is it's a 1.
Oh, okay.
Oh my god, another one.
Another
I
one.
remember I remember when the show come out. I'm pretty sure there was like a little bit of excitement, like a buzz about it, um, about what direction it was going to go and stuff. I think I watched like half of the first episode before like saying no. I didn't even put that shit on my mouth. I was just like, no, I
Yeah.
don't want people to know
Yeah.
I watched half an episode. So
I made it
I
one
about watched
episode.
it just for the
I did that with
voice
Pride of
actor.
Orange.
I also did that with Pride of Orange before. Now it's on my mouth forever. So
What's great
Yeah.
about this show is that this show airing single-handedly made the mangaka stop making the manga.
Really?
It ended in
They got
2024.
bullied?
It ended in 2024, and I think they were supposed to have more stuff that came out from it. Don't
a
quote
Wasn't
me
shame.
it
on that.
originally a light novel? So is the light
Yeah.
novel still going?
Yeah,
I
I think
hope
the light
not.
novel's still going.
Well,
Yeah,
it can't always
because
be
manga
just as-
adaptations don't always go for the whole
The
run.
light novel somehow won an award.
what?
Yep.
Love to see it.
They got
Eight-
second place in the Denkai Novel Award. It won 1,000,000 yen.
Nice.
Is gold
Good for
place?
them.
It says gold place on my notes here.
Yeah,
Is that
gold place
not-
is second. Grand prize is first.
Oh. Interesting.
They also at the end of the anime, the pig goes back to the world because he didn't actually fully get reincarnated. He wasn't fully a pig, so his actual physical
what?
body was in like the real world and was just comatose because oh yeah, I forgot to tell you the reason why he got reincarnated is because he ate raw pig liver.
I forgot
Ah,
about
he's
that
a liver
stupid
king.
plot point.
Yeah. He ate
Liver
raw
king.
pig liver and then just fucking died, then didn't die, went back to his old world, wrote a novel about the story, then met other people that got reincarnated as a pig, or reincarnated into the other world, and then they sent him back by them all agreeing to eat pig liver together.
Oh my god.
Fun.
You mentioning that stuff it's kind of similar to Zenshu, weirdly.
Yeah, but Zenchu is good.
Yeah,
It
but
is.
like she ate a rainbow clam and is most likely comatose in a movie world.
You know, sometimes we have to make shit for good things to come out of it. This just happens to be the
Butareba
shit.
walked so Zenshu could run.
He
You love to see it.
lived life as a pig for like however long and then woke up and immediately ate pig.
Yep.
No. No, that's not what Kat said.
Oh, I thought he said that
He said he
it did-
wrote a novel, met more, and then he ate pig liver to go back.
It's like
Okay.
that meme of like, you
okay.
know, let's take ibuprofen together, but the ibuprofen is raw pig liver.
That's what's up.
All right.
Huh.
All right. I think I've had enough pig liver for
I have two.
today. Good. I'm glad. Who wants to go next? Was it Preston, I think, right?
Yep, I'm going next with another gotcha game adaptation show. Spoiler alert, the show's terrible. The the show I got was Senjuushi, also known as The Thousand Noble Musketeers in English. This show centers around a group of musketeers whose souls come from ancient guns throughout history, and they fight the evil world empire who has taken away the freedom of the citizens. Some of the ancient souls that have been reincarnated are like a rifle that Napoleon owned, and now he believes he is Napoleon. Just very dumb.
Cooking so
The
far?
show's really bad. They have some good voice actors in it, but it really feels like they half-assed it most of the time. OP's good. I like the OP. But other than that, the show has no redeeming quality really at all. I'm usually lenient with bad animation. This show's animation was trash the whole way through. The CGI was awful. the action was never interesting because it was basically slideshows of them moving the characters and then them just shooting their guns. And then the best parts of the show really were just slice of life, and even then, that was bad. They chased around kittens for half an episode.
That seems random.
Oh, trust me, it was, but that was the best episode of the show.
What was the point in that? Was they trying to kill them for chance, or just catch them, or
No,
what?
no. So the Musketeers, they're like broken up into groups, and one group had to go to a town and do odd jobs to like create a bond with that town so they could get help to fight the Empire. And their odd jobs were being a waiter. Somebody had to do shipment loading. One was a mailman. And then they just randomly all decided to chase a litter of kittens that these two kids owned for the rest of the episode after they finished their work.
I have a very important question.
What is it, Kat?
Did you watch Senjuushi Kijushi Tachi no Happy Birthday?
No, that was not part of the assignment. I saw that earlier today, and I was like, I'm not watching this. They can't make me.
I'm
Correct.
surprised. So it seems like they went, just based off the names I'm reading on Mal, they started with guns named after guns like Springfield. The Brown, I'm
Yes.
assuming, is Browning.
Yeah,
You
Brown
know,
Best is the Browning.
but like then there's Iyasu, which that's just a
So no.
that's the Tokugawa Iyasu, you know, like and
So yeah,
Napoleon.
their names are also off of who owned them. So like Brown Best was highly manufactured, so there's a lot of them. While Napoleon owned a specific gun, and that gun became Napoleon, and then he had two pistols that became twin pistols.
Two guns.
But
Two guns. Does Iyasu
Actually,
own like a blunderbuss or something? Like, because like that's the
it
weapon
was
they would have had back then. It would have been like a musket, essentially. You know, like
Pat. I'm not a gunhead at all. I can't tell these guns apart
oh,
to
okay, fair
save my
enough.
life. But yes, Iyasu owned one of them, and then there's there's Yukimura. He's named after I think a place in Japan, and then yeah. But I I have no clue whatsoever.
I'm just trying to understand it because it's like you know, if they committed to it, like Azur Lane, right? They're all named after ships, warships, right? Like, so I would have thought that this was just like gun Azur Lane, but I guess it's not because. And I was surprised when I was looking at the character list that there was no like Colt, there was no Remington, you know, two of the major, most influential gun manufacturers in the world and in the history of guns as well. So,
They
I don't
didn't
know,
want to get sued
but they
for
use
trademark.
but they use Springfield and they used, I guess, Brown, and you could get away with it. And I guess Springfield you can too, but like that's like one of the most major ones too. So like that's why I was just surprised. It'd be like having Mount Rushmore be like your guideline for the show, and then having like Abe Lincoln and Roosevelt, but not having Jefferson and Washington like in the show as well. You know,
Yeah.
like it would make it's just weird. Not that I'm
This show
surprised that the
the
show
show has a
stunk.
4.91.
Oh
Don't
my
expect too
god!
much. Yeah.
I didn't even
By
notice that.
rating, I got the worst show this year.
Yep. Does it feel like it?
No. Ro-Kyu-Bu is almost
Yeah,
certainly worse.
that's the one.
Pixakai is almost certainly worse. Pride of Orange is probably better. And I'm terrified of Bakuon, so I don't know.
The crazy thing
Detective
is
Already Dead is the best show though by far.
Ro-Kyu-Bu is a 6.75. It's been our highest show tonight. Just letting y'all know.
Oh god.
Makes me
Yes,
sick.
it is.
Yeah,
It is
that's
the
that's
highest
higher than
show.
mine too. Yeah, well, that's because like legitimately the only person who would watch that knows what they're getting into.
Yeah, true.
Like
I was
And also
looking, and it's
Mal.
literally got a 2,000 people rated it as a 10, bro. It's insane.
Jesus.
Uh,
Okay. Um. But yeah,
It,
just want to
it,
mention one last thing about this terrible show. So the guns reincarnate into basically human, like they're humans, but they have supernatural powers while holding their guns called absolute nobility. And so it basically allows all these single fire shot guns to just shoot infinitely without ever having to reload, which is something they showed in the first 2 episodes and then never showed again. And then the ultimate power of it is they can spawn like dozens of guns in the air to shoot with, and it's basically unlimited gun work. The show makes no sense, and like they all serve this one master, which is just like a callback to the gotcha game where the master is the one who pulls all of them.
oh my god, it's so bad. It sounds so awful. And the not needing to reload thing, I guess that would make Iyasu's gun actually relevant because like meanwhile Browning, most known for that massive machine gun that won World War One and parts of World War Two.
No. It was a rifle, Pat. It wasn't. It Yeah, it was a rifle. He used a rifle.
It's literally like why does the show exist? I don't want to talk about it anymore. All right, I'm done. I'm done thinking about this show. It's too much.
Preston, what was your rating on this one?
I put it on a 4 on Mal and A list, but I'm thinking I should probably drop it to a 3.
Okay.
Terrible show.
Don't
so watch
Good
it.
job.
Cat did a good job picking a garbage show for somebody to watch.
Finding it even.
Yep.
I wish I got a holiday touchdown.
You were so close too.
You were
so
close.
This close. I remember
God,
watching.
so close. And then he didn't even three-peat either.
Fuck you, Cat.
Yeah,
That still hurts.
Was dirty. That one hurt.
That still
was
hurts.
Yeah.
All right, Tyler,
Lost
you're
by
up.
40.
well, I got a show called Bakuon. Not sure who nominated it. I don't know how many of y'all have watched
It was
this.
Miles.
I didn't nominate it. I don't
It was
believe.
It was the spirit of Jeep Dave.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh yeah, okay.
For the wheel,
Spirit
it
of-
was you, Miles.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was going to do it because I wanted to avoid it at all costs.
Oh, okay. That's I've watched it.
Yeah. So, are you the only one to watch it?
Yeah, man.
I ain't
Okay.
talking
For sure.
that.
No one's voluntarily watched this. I had to do it for this exact exercise last year.
Trent also watched it, but Trent is not here today.
I got you.
Trent was
Well-
fourth by Jeep Dave during Secret Santa.
Yeah.
That was even worse. Yeah, the fact that he was like, "Oh, but you should like this show. It's funny." Like,
Yeah.
oof.
He laughed about the rape scene and said it was the best part.
Which one?
Checkmate. All right,
Which
let's try
there's
again.
multiple
Okay,
of them
let
in
Tyler
that
talk.
show.
Let Tyler talk.
Yeah, like, come on. All right, Tyler. What do you like? What was your favorite scene from this?
Yeah, you loved the show.
I don't think. Oh, so I do have a favorite scene actually. There's some positives, I guess. Like the little bike club skit in like the last like episode 9 or 10 or something like that they did on the stage when they was trying to recruit people to join their club. They wasn't able to bring their bikes on the stage because can't have bikes at school, right? And they started doing like a little skit with handlebars and singing a little song. It was pretty fun. Like I'll give it to them. That was probably my favorite moment of the episode or show.
Real quick, can you do
Uh,
like a synopsis of like what the show is about?
Oh yeah. So basically, this is about a bunch of high school girls. They learn to ride bikes, motorcycles, scooters, whatever you want to classify them as, and then they basically join a bike club, and the rest of the time is spent just riding the bikes and talking about bikes and trying to recruit people to their cult. called the Bot Club.
That's
That is
super
pretty
fair.
much it. That's the entire premise of the show.
It's not a gang,
So,
it's a cult.
yeah. It's yeah. They even meet like other like biker gangs and stuff, but it's not the same. So I'm just gonna tell you.
Okay.
Obviously this show is bad. But outside of like, so the biggest issue I had with the show was literally episode 4 and 5. That was the worst episodes in the show. Now, if I was watching this on my own, I wouldn't have made it that far. Just saying. But if I did, I definitely wouldn't have made it past episode 4. I think that the rest of the show, outside of the few like I don't know, questionable, anime doing anime shit scenes, like this show was like it was okay, like it wasn't nothing to write home about. It was okay, but episode 4 and 5 and those few things is what kills the show. I just like the other good thing about this is I just want to say my other good thing. The voice actors, they was actually really good. Like and like the some of the characters was pretty fun. Like the little the group that they had going on, it was a pretty fun dynamic. But they had like 3 really prolific voice actors that like Aqua, a voice actor for Aqua, voice actor for like Yui, Mio, and My Happy Marriage. Like it was really good voice actors, and they done a really good job. But outside of that, the show wasn't good. Um, episode 4 and 5, like I said, you literally had these girls stripping naked. They was jumping into water together. We had the teacher um, get drunk, try to force the kids to drink alcohol. Then once they didn't, one of them passed out, and she started trying to grope her, I guess you could say, after she stripped her naked, by the way. And then the friends was like, "Hey, that's only allowed for other friends, not for people, other people, just friends." And so then she starts chasing them around and starts like trying to take their clothes off, and then she ends up just licking their feet. This was
That's awful.
What the fuck?
yeah. So this was all in episode 4.
I did not see that
Yeah,
coming.
that's the craziest part. It's all one episode. of
This
this
was
shit.
one episode.
Yes. And then after all this, the girls end up blackmailing her. It's a woman teacher. The girls end up blackmailing her and into becoming their advisor for the bot club. And they explain it that when she gets drunk, it makes her like girls a lot. That was her reasoning behind acting like that. So so
Is this
um
an all girls school, by the way?
no, but you don't really see like a whole lot of guys. Like I said, it's mostly a lot of girls. Um
May I ask a question?
yeah.
Who was your favorite character and why was it God?
Yeah, Jesus is in this. That is important.
Jesus
to
is
note.
in this.
What?
Jesus
He has
is
a
in this.
halo. He has a I see
Yeah.
his picture on Mal. It's pretty funny. I gotta say, like, what is how relevant is he? Is he like frequent or?
So he helps the main girl, Hane. She is the one that like it kind of centers around the most. I mean, it centers around all these girls, but it centers around her the most because she's the one that started riding the bike. She learned how to ride a bike and all that stuff. And she meets him going down the road one day because all the other girls left her behind, and it was cold outside, and she ran out of gas, and so he helped her get to the gas station. Or no, he ran out of gas, and she was about to run out of gas, and they split the gas or something. And they got to the gas station. I think he appears like 3 more times, like chance encounters. And the last encounter was at the end where they was at a magazine store or something, and he was buying a porno magazine, a bike porno magazine, and she questioned him about buying it and was looking at the pictures, and she was making comments about how these girls are naked and why is he buying this, and you could see their nether regions and stuff. Uh, And then he was like, but what if bikes didn't exist? And then she just, it's a dream or something. So I don't know.
I have some quick questions.
Yeah.
So you had mentioned that after episodes 4 and 5, it gets a little better.
I wouldn't say it gets better. I'm just saying without those two. Okay.
I would ask about the scene in the episode where the black-haired girl whose name I can't remember, Ansa, gets that Suzuki disease and attempts to have sex with a Suzuki bike in her room. You didn't find that one questionable? That episode wasn't questionable to you?
Well, so not as much as 4 and 5.
Fair enough.
Because in 5 they manually wash their bikes with their bodies in bathing suits. And this includes like 2 main parts being soaked up and rubbing it on the bike.
Yes, yeah, they
so,
do the car wash scene thing.
Yeah.
With the, yeah.
But they said
Really?
that
to raise money.
Yeah,
Oh.
it wasn't even. Was it to raise money? It was their
Well,
own
I thought it
bikes.
was for the bike club. Was it just for fun?
Yeah, it was to clean their bikes, and
Oh,
it was
okay, cool.
because washing their bikes manually was so tiring, so they decided to do this. And then the second girl joined in because one of the other girls said, "You don't love your bike unless you do it like her," and so she started doing it too. So to answer Miles' question, I did say outside of 4 and 5 and the questionable doing anime shit scenes, and that would qualify as one of those scenes. But that is like a super stupid thing that happened later on because it doesn't even make sense. And like then one of them got branded by a Suzuki hood ornament because
Yes.
her dad done a stoppie on the motorcycle and she like flew no telling how many hundreds of feet probably just into a random car that was sitting there, and the hood ornament was burning hot, and now she's branded on her ass cheeks S. And we find that out in the episode 4 when they got naked and jumped into the water. So it was a whole backstory. So there was a lot of things going on in this. But like I said, I think the girls was fun. Outside of the things happening, it was a, I wouldn't say decent show, but it wasn't like horrible. It's not the worst thing I ever seen, but it's the worst thing I ever completed. Just to clarify that.
Outside of the sexual misconduct, it was an okay show.
Yeah, I say if episodes 4 and 5 didn't exist, and I think even if episodes 4 and 5 didn't exist, I think the rest of it you could look over some of it, probably, and just be like, oh well, it's just anime doing anime shit. But I probably wouldn't have still watched it because it was outside of the girls interacting with each other and like just the stupidity and of the show. Like it just wasn't for me. I'm not a big bike person. I feel like just like Pat, watched his hockey thing. If you was a big fan of bikes, you would absolutely hate this show. I guarantee it. Because the things that they do in this show isn't legit.
My understanding is it is, but I don't know.
So in the first couple episodes, Hane, the main character, she is at the training thing trying to get her bike license, and they tell her that the most important thing about getting your bike license is if you're able to pick the bike up or not if it falls. Not if you can drive it in a straight line or keep it up. It's just if you can pick it up. That's the passing and failing line, I'm pretty sure, is if you can pick it up. And it's insane. And then we got like the bikes talking as well. One of the bikes has a soul and it talks, and it's just like very horny for men. So it randomly talks about how it feels good when men's crotches are on its back, or I don't know. I don't even know how to talk about it. So it was interesting. I'll say that much. Uh, there's also like some kind of half-ass bondage gear too. That's what it's um being portrayed as, but like they have it as a training harness, I think, but it's literally just like them trying to uh make a sexual reference. So, but anybody got any questions?
I just want to know what your rating is.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Probably like a 2 to 3.
Okay.
I gave it a 2.
Yeah, it's like I said, if you didn't have 4 and 5, it could probably be a 6, honestly.
Damn.
Like it was pretty decent. Like I said, the voice actors was pretty decent too. But it just had 4 and 5 ruined it, and it just had like questionable scenes throughout too. But 4 and 5 was definitely, if you're gonna watch it, try to watch them very fast. So.
All right, Miles, you are the last one. You are up. Take it away, sir.
Yeah, so I got The Detective Is Already Dead. And the best part about the show was that it was fine. Um uh it- the show is bad, but unlike it seems sort of like everyone else, the show is bad in like a very fun way. Like they let whoever wrote this cook like way too much. And it is like so filled with bizarre anime plot points and stuff that just don't make any sense and are not ever foreshadowed or whatever, that or even if they are foreshadowed, they're just like it's just crazy. Like, so you follow a guy named Kimi, who used to be the assistant for Siesta, who's the great detective. Siesta is a great character, and she is in fact already dead. Though 90% of the show is a flashback, so the fact that she is dead is more or less immaterial to the show. So you flash backwards and forwards between the past, where he's working for Siesta, in the future, where he is now working for Nagisa, who inherited Siesta's heart in some sort of organ donor program and is kind of part Siesta. In the past, they're going after a bad guy whose name is Hell. It's a very original name. And in the future, they're trying to solve some things, I guess. I don't know. Just solve. It's like about Nagisa has like some issues with not being a good detective, even though she is the detective, but she is like a different person. None of it makes a ton of sense. Siesta and Kimi have a fun dynamic. It's also sort of like a mild harem. Kimi is surrounded by women who are like also detectives slash supernatural people that he helps in some way, that are all interested in him, but he clearly only has one love interest, who is Siesta and maybe Nagisa. I'm not sure how that's going to go. You find out later, spoilers for the show, by the way, that Nagisa's body is from Hell. So like Hell was the bad guy, and they kill her, but then she gets Siesta's heart and like makes this new person. It's pretty contrived. Overall, though, I had like a relatively pleasant time because it was just so off the walls and sort of crazy. It was sort of fun trying to guess what they would do and everything. And the main two characters had good banter, but I guess the part where this becomes like a bad show is that if you were like really trying to follow what would happen, or like the writing, it would make no sense. It's like horribly contrived. Do we have any questions about the detective already being dead?
I remember watching this when it aired and being like extremely confused through 2 episodes. And so does it sound? It sounds like it just does it continue like that throughout the series?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like it's so like the first episode of this is actually pretty fucking sick. It mostly takes place
That was the
on a
plane, right?
plane.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it like sets up all of these like scenarios and everything. And it like ends with, but it's a shame because the detective's already dead. And you're like, oh, like, okay, so we introduced this really cool character, but she's dead. Like, how's our main guy going to continue? And then it immediately goes to the past. The next like 6 episodes, she's like very alive, which is bizarre.
I was really confused by that when I was
Yeah,
watching
and so like you do figure out that it's just in the past, but like a lot of the show is baiting her dying. Like, is this the scene where she died? Is this the scene where she died? And then it just, of course, it happens in like the second to last episode or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they don't show her dying until like the very end. But they like do a fake out death of her. I mean, unironically, maybe like 5 or 6 times throughout the previous episodes, which is very dumb. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like maybe once you can get me, but like, come on now. You know, so it's confusing. Pat, what's up?
Doesn't sound like you hated it. Like
No,
I
I for sure didn't. Think about this is like if, and this is like, this is me, like, take this from coming from me. This is sort of like if Rascal Doesn't Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai was like fucking ass.
Oh, okay. I was getting ready for something like, all right.
So like,
the hell you say fuck me for? You know?
No. Like, yeah. So it's like vaguely supernatural. Like there's some stuff going on. It's like more actiony than that. But you have the main guy. You have his main female sidekick. Well, he's the sidekick, but you know his main companion. They sort of have that relationship where they're snarky towards each other, and then there are like these side girls who are interested in him, but like clearly not on the level of a Mai. And so he's not interested in them, but he like will help them out, and they will like join the group in a similar way of like Bunny Girl Senpai or Monogatari or any of these things that have that general dynamic. And what makes this one bad is that the characters are less likable and the plot makes no sense. And it's not even like a Bunny Girl Senpai thing where I'm like, oh, the plot makes no sense if I apply, you know, physics the way that they're saying it works. You know, like the author wasn't good in their metaphors. It's the plot just doesn't make a lot of sense at all from like a very cursory reading. You know, it's just not there at all. You know, where I have an issue with Bunny Girl, where I think it like lacks depth, where it tries to add this lacks a surface, which makes it a little difficult. But it still has some of those fun characters and interactions and stuff. It's like it's like if you put all the parts of that show there in the pile, and you can tell the parts are good, but they're just not assembled correctly.
So Miles, this show was announced almost 3 years ago that it was getting a second season, and we still don't have a date for it. Would you be interested in continue watching this show?
Yeah. So this is a tough one for me. I think I might, because there's enough of like, oh my god, this silly thing is like, you can sort of see not through like good foreshadowing, but just through like, I don't know, color schemes and shit, that like the bad guy is our main girl, and that's going to be like a thing. And so like she used to be the bad guy or whatever. Anyways, it's like there's a lot of like, ooh, but you didn't see this coming twisted, like you did because they're the same person or whatever. And like I think there's a lot of good of that. There's some bad episodes that are like boring slice of life sort of thing. Like, you think about that Steins Gate episode where he went on a date, but like without any of the work to make the characters good, so you don't care. Like the characters exist entirely as banter, as opposed to having any sort of depth. They are the Marvel one-liners of characters.
Interesting.
Which can be fun, but it's also like it's purely. I didn't retain anything, right? Like I just watched it and it entered my brain and left it. It's sort of how it went.
Gotcha.
I don't know. Has anyone seen this?
I dropped it after 2 episodes.
Okay.
I also watched, I think, 1.5, and I was like, I didn't really drop it, but I was like, I'm not gonna watch this right now. I think it was when it was airing. and I might not watch it even still. So it just don't seem like it holds my interest. So
Yeah, I don't, especially if you watch like 2 episodes and it wasn't doing it, because like by far and away the best episode is episode 1.
I saw that people were watching it, and then I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll watch it just to be on the conversation." Never did it because I was 2019. I was doing stuff.
No one missed out.
I was told it was bad, so I just never watched it. That was
You
probably
were
from
told,
Pete.
yeah, that was correct.
I clicked on the spoilers though, and it actually looks kind of interesting to see where it might be going.
No, see, like, don't let it trick you.
Okay.
Okay, because the points in time, right? Like, what spoiler did you click on?
If you go on Mal and you click
Yeah.
Siesta and you click
Yes.
Race.
Yeah. Okay, so that one, we know that pretty early on. 2, none of that matters.
Okay.
Like, it does matter. Like, there's a big thing about the corporation that like makes the androidy parts and stuff, and like trying to gather, but like none of it matters. Is like that's technically what the plot is about, but it doesn't matter.
Okay.
It's
It's been 4 years and I only watched 2 episodes, so I don't really remember like anything outside of the plane. So seeing that raised my interest a little bit, but I'll take your word for it. And
yeah, it's like the end. If you were to like if it's a loaf of bread, right? The show is a loaf of bread.
I love bread.
And you are to like cut out a single point and look at it, you might be like, oh, this looks like it could be pretty interesting. But then you like look at the whole loaf of bread, and it's not a solid loaf, and it's all like there's some ham in there, and it just doesn't make any, not in like a sandwich way, in like the way that the bread is ham instead of bread. It just doesn't know what it's trying to do or how to piece it together or anything. But it is, there are individual plot points that are fun. It's just the interconnectivity of them are bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I gave this a 6. Because I had an okay time watching it, and I thought some episodes were fun and some episodes were boring, and it didn't make much sense, and that averaged out to a 6 out of 10.
Gotcha. Okay, well that sounds good. Did anybody have anything that they forgot that they want to get off their chest before we wrap up?
Absolutely. So you know how
Make it
like
quick, though.
yeah, of course. So you know how like in Bakuon they were doing the things with the bikes, and like they were having to ride it and do, or not ride it, but like sit on it and be in promiscuous positions. There was a part in Pixakai where like what's her face, the main chick was riding on the pig, and it's part of an episode that is literally called "Be Careful How You Ride a Pig." Yeah, so it just talks about how the spine is just tickling her and how it feels really weird, and she makes promiscuous noises. Like that's a whole thing. I hated that episode. That like I didn't realize I was gonna get a piece of Bakuon out of my pig show. So like I feel like this makes the show even worse, and I can't lower the score anymore.
I also think we should mention that the pig character that we're talking about is actually a pig. I don't know if we ever made that clear, because we were talking about like a man character and calling him a pig, and sometimes I was just, the listeners that don't know what Pixakai was, it is an actual pig.
Yeah, he's a pig in personality and a pig in like physicality.
Yeah.
So
he oinks, basically.
Literally, yeah.
That reminds me like the of the intermission screens on when you said that of Bakuon. Literally, the intermission screens was just them in like very sexual poses on the box and very few clothing. So that was nice. Not by the way.
Not by
That
the
was
way.
nice sarcasm.
I completely forgot to mention earlier that the Musketeers, with all their single fire shot rifles, fought fully automatic rifles the whole show, and they somehow won every fight without any of them dying. because, yeah. But
The way you were
even with
describing it didn't even seem like there was any fighting in general.
there's nothing to talk about because the animation is so bad. But even with how the show being as bad as it was, I'm so happy that Miles told me to go last, so I didn't end up with Bakuon, and I want to thank him again for that
I'm happy
because
to
he
help.
saved me.
We found
Oh,
out
no,
later that the math might not have mattered, but regardless, it did matter in reality.
It saved me.
So-
It saved me still.
I almost want to say I'd rather watch Bakuon than whatever you watched or Ro-Yu-Bu. So
I would rather watch
Pixie-Guy.
Bakuon
I would
than
rather watch
Ro-Kyu-Bu, for
Bakuon than
sure.
all of them. So
Same.
I don't know. Episodes 4 and 5 of Bakuon sound horrific.
it was
Senjuushi
bad,
was
but
just boring and bad.
Anybody else? All
I don't
right,
think so.
sounds good. We will be wrapping it up. I want to say thank you to everybody who joined. Hopefully next year we actually have somebody to win. This is 2 years straight of every single person losing. It can't happen a third time, right? So, I would like to see if somebody actually wins next. It'd be fun. And hopefully next year we'll have the winner. I don't know, gloat instead of watching the show or something like that. I want to say thank you to Tyler, who's not normally a guest, who joined us. Thank you, Tyler. I'll leave the information to his podcast in the description below. Go check them out. They do 2 episodes a week, so go check them out. Otherwise, thank you everybody who listened. If you want to support us, the best way to do so, give me a bunch of money. Otherwise, like, comment, subscribe, leave a review on whatever platform you're watching or listening to us on. Next week for Watch Club, we are doing the Breed and Arc of Link Click, our 3rd edition of Link Click for Watch Club. Otherwise, if you're here for non-Watch Club, we are already looking into spring. It'll be our spring preview. It looks to be a very fun season. A lot of shows that I'm looking forward to, and hopefully you are as well. We'll be going over new properties like Lazarus, and not the show where that chick takes off her underwear. Won't be watching that. And some other sequels.
Takamine-san.
Yeah, not watching that, not talking about that. So if you're looking forward to that, you gotta find a different podcast. Talking some sequels, Aharon, Windbreaker, not Fire Force, but shout out to everybody still watching Fire.
Hell yeah.
Thanks again, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
Bye-bye.